Welcome to CAPTA's 2021 Convention Workshop on Why PTA Matters. I'm MJ Lonson, a member of the Board of Managers and Leadership Commission, along with Jeff Price, a Board of Director member and CAPTA Secretary, presenting this workshop. This workshop is designed to provide an understanding of how PTA's history, advocacy, and membership are linked together and contribute to why PTA matters from inception to today. To guide us, we will look at the history of PTA, give an overview of PTA advocacy, look at PTA structure, explain why PTA membership is so important to PTA, discuss how to set membership goals and create a membership marketing plan, and give you information on where to find various PTA tools and resources to help make you a better leader.
At the end of the 19th century, the United States was feeling the enormous impact of the Industrial Revolution, and an immense wave of immigrants were flowing into the country. Children worked in factories, in mines, and in streets of the cities. Some children could not attend school or obtain enough food to eat. Children were suffering, and something needed to be done. After extensive grassroots work in different parts of the nation, two women, Alice McClellan Burney and Phoebe Apperson Hearst, met in 1895 and through diligent efforts, planned a meeting to bring their ideas to others. On February 17, 1897, more than 2,000 men and women from all across the United States met in Washington, D.C., and the National Congress of Mothers was formed. In 1902, the California Congress of Mothers and Study Circles was chartered under the national umbrella. Next, in 1926, with help of the National PTA and based on PTA principles, Selina Sloan Butler founded the National Congress of Colored Parents and Teachers in Georgia and served as its first president. On June 22, 1970, these two national organizations merged and became the National Parent Teacher Association, the PTA we know today.
So, as you can see, since 1897, the purpose of PTA has been to advocate for the betterment of children and families. In fact, PTA is the oldest and largest all-volunteer child advocacy organization in the nation. Every year, hundreds of PTA volunteers from all over the United States descend on their state capitals and meet in Washington, D.C. to meet with legislators and other policymakers to make sure our members' voices are heard. In California, we also have our Legislative Action Committee that monitor pending legislation and testify at public hearings to ensure that our voice is heard in our advocacy focus areas of education, funding and policy, community and school safety, juvenile justice, child care and early education, children's health, and other issues affecting children and youth. The Legislative Action Committee also analyzes statewide ballot measures and initiatives to determine California state PTA's position based on PTA authorities and resolutions. In the 124 years of advocacy work, PTA volunteers have successfully advocated for many laws and programs that are still valuable today. Some of these include child labor laws, creation of kindergarten, creating a juvenile justice system, hot and healthy lunch program, mandatory child vaccination, arts and education, special education, HIV and AIDS education, school safety, and many more. Speaking of arts education, did you know that PTA's Reflection program is the oldest and largest child arts program in the country? Another fun fact is that Teacher Appreciation Week is actually a national PTA program started back in 1984. Although PTA has had wonderful success in the past, we're not close to being done. That's why PTA still matters today.
Now that we have discussed a little bit of PTA's history and PTA's advocacy work, it's important for you to know how PTA is structured. PTA is a registered 501c3 nonprofit organization composed of millions of families, students, teachers, administrators, and business and community leaders, all devoted to the educational success of children and the promotion of family engagement in schools. Today, there are 54 congresses throughout the world chartered under National PTA. In California, we have 27 districts, 145 councils, and over 3,200 units. So let's discuss what these levels do and how they all fit together. There are 5 levels of PTA. The first and largest level are our units. Units are the lifeblood of our organization. Our units provide educational enhancements to our children in schools in the form of programs, extracurricular activities, field trips, art, music, book fairs, and much, much more. Our units are also the level that bring in the vast majority of our members, whose dues provide most of the operational income for the rest of the organization. Units also engage in fundraising activities that are not found at other levels of PTA, and strong units help with the overall PTA advocacy goals. Units help build community. They provide resources to the school and community that benefit children, and unit PTA members have a seat at the table when important local decisions are being made. The next PTA level is council. Councils provide oversight, support, and training to the units. A small amount of the per capita dues that gets passed up from the unit's membership help cover the operating costs of the councils. This is approximately 20 to 40 cents per membership. In addition, there are some units that are outside of a council. These units report directly to a district, which we will now discuss. Districts, like councils, provide oversight, support, and training to both the council and unit levels. Also, like council, the unit's membership help cover the operating costs of the district. Districts report directly to California State PTA. In fact, every district president is a member of the California State PTA Board of Managers. Districts also have additional expenses like air and car travel, and some districts have office space with paid office staff. Approximately 40 cents of every membership goes to the district level. State PTAs are responsible for helping to carry out the priorities of the organization. In addition to providing many of the same services that councils and districts provide, state PTAs are responsible for putting on the annual convention and a legislation convention. State PTAs are also responsible for the organization's advocacy. As we previously discussed, California State PTA has a Legislation Action Committee that meets at our California State PTA office in Sacramento during the first part of the calendar year, where the legislature puts forth various bills. From the thousands of bills that are introduced, our Legislation Action Committee decides which bills PTA should support or oppose based on our legislative platform and planks. $2 of every membership goes to support California State PTA's legislative work, to support the California State PTA office and staff, and to provide all of the programs and support tools for our districts, councils, and units. Membership dues also help pay for the 4 California State PTA Board of Manager meetings that are held each year so that the work of the organization can be planned and carried out. National PTA is responsible for setting the priorities of the organization. National PTA also does advocacy work, but on the federal level. Also, just like California State PTA, National PTA has an office located in Washington, D.C., and a paid staff to help run the entire organization. National PTA is also tasked with putting on a yearly convention and legislation conference, so $2.25 of every membership goes to support National PTA.
Now that we have spoken a little bit about PTA's history and its mission of advocacy, you can see that our founding mothers formed the PTA to tackle the health and safety issues facing children and families. They did not get together to put on the biggest bake sale in America or to raise money only for their kids. Now we will discuss why PTA membership matters. First, PTA is a membership-funded organization. As discussed previously, PTA is dependent on membership dues to cover the costs of operating expenses, provide training opportunities, and develop and support various PTA programs. Next, PTA depends on its members to give a stronger voice to our advocacy goals because our power lays in our collective voice. As a member of your local PTA, you also belong to national PTA. As you have seen, national PTA's impact on the American landscape has been significant, and it was through membership that PTA, as a group of volunteers, was able to drive such sweeping changes. Let's face it, without our members, PTA would cease to exist. So let's now look at how to create a membership marketing program. The first step in creating a membership marketing plan is to create goals. When setting your goals, you really only need to know and understand three things. Where are you? Where do you want to go? What's your goal? And what will you do to reach that goal? Where are you? Look at the last 3 years of membership totals for your unit and see how many members your unit realistically signs up. From that number, you then need to look at your unit and see if there have been any major changes. For example, did you go from a middle school to a junior high school? Did your K-8 school become a K-5 school? Has there been a major population shift in your area? You look at these factors and they will help you set your goal. You also need to keep track of your members. Even better is to track the type of members your unit gets. Are they students, parents, men, community members? This will help you with where you want to go. These things are basic to PTA membership, and as a membership leader, you will want to be able to answer these questions. Who can join PTA? Anyone can join PTA. This statement is directly from our toolkit. What does it mean? When does a member become a voting member of PTSA? 30 days after payment of dues. What is the expiration date of a PTA membership? October 31st. Can children join PTA? Oh, yes. Another tool you should have at your disposal is your elevator pitch, or a short reasons why PTA membership matters. Picture this. You get on an elevator on the first floor of your building with your friend. You push the button to the 10th floor. As the doors close, your friend suddenly asks you why they should join PTA. You have approximately 30 seconds to tell your friend the most important aspects of being a PTA member. What should you say? What do you think your friend would like to hear? I know it sounds hard, but it really isn't. Here's what you do. Keep your message simple. Make the message specific. Let members know what's in it for them. Use 1 to 3 examples that you have personally witnessed. The more personal your pitch is, the more relatable it is to other people.
Now that you understand why membership is so important to PTA, and now that you've set your membership goal, let's look at your membership plan. As you go through your membership year, if you're successful, most of your families, students, and teachers will have joined the PTA. But going beyond the school can strengthen not only your PTA membership numbers, but your relationships with the community and maybe even your volunteer force. That is why you want to make sure that your membership plan is inclusive. This means that you want to create an environment that is inviting for all. Be energetic and excited about PTA so others are excited to join. Talk about all of the good PTA does for all children. Consider cultures, languages, and religious holidays. PTA is working hard to be as diverse and inclusive as possible. This means having materials printed in different languages or having translation services available at meetings and events. It is also important that you are aware of various religious holidays so you do not inadvertently schedule a meeting or event on one of those days. You want to develop and maintain respectful relationships. This includes your relationship with school administrators, teachers, and staff. Remember, our PTA units are guests at our schools, so it is important that you treat everyone with respect. Make sure your PTA represents your community. Look at your membership and then look at your executive board. Is your board representative of your school population? If not, what can you do to encourage inclusiveness? If you discover that your PTA is not representative of your school population, you need to consider who is missing. Are you asking everyone to join your PTA? Are you explaining to teachers and administrators the benefits of having a strong PTA at your school? Some of these benefits include having extra helpers on campus, extra eyes, extra money for school projects, extra programs for the students, and teacher-staff appreciation events. You also want to avoid clique-like behavior. This is very important because PTAs sometimes get a bad reputation of being a bunch of people only looking out for themselves and their kids and not the rest of the kids at the school. Make sure your board members are spread out at meetings and events and are welcoming and appreciating others for attending. Unfortunately, not all parents are jumping at the chance of joining PTA, so it's important that you know the reasons they don't join and have a valid rebuttal. Some years ago, National PTA conducted a survey and asked people why they would not or did not join PTA. Here are the top 3 reasons. 1. They don't want to be forced to volunteer. 2. They don't want to have to attend meetings. And 3. They don't want to have to take on a task. So with these obstacles in mind, how do we get parents to see why their membership in PTA is so important? This goes to your elevator pitch. How about dues support the school and our students? Being a member of PTA is separate from any obligation to volunteer for anything. We're in this together. We want to make public education better for all students. Or how about your PTA membership does not require you to attend meetings, but remind them that we would love to see them there because that helps strengthen our community. Also remind them that their membership is supporting the programs and services of the PTA for the good of the school and the kids. Also remind them that just because you're a PTA member, it does not require you to do anything at all. Your membership shows that you want to make a difference in children's lives, and that's why PTA is there at your school. As you're building your membership marketing plan, remember, a successful plan will contain most of the following elements. Start early and use multiple touch points. Social media can be very effective at getting your membership message out. Use teachers as key influencers. Be sure to communicate with teachers so they understand what PTA provides for them and the students. Ask them to include a PTA membership message during their back-to-school night presentation. Also remember that parents usually find out what is happening at the school through their students' teachers. So the more that the teachers understand what's going on with PTA, the better your parents will know. Utilize one-on-one outreach by PTA board members and parents. Be excited and informative about what and how PTA membership contributes to the school. Utilize personal outreach by bilingual board members and/or bilingual PTA parents to non-English speaking parents. Attend an ELAC meeting to discuss membership. Reach out to parents of special needs. In other words, be inclusive. Parents of special needs students often feel left out. Remind them of all the work PTA has done for the betterment of special education and for children with special needs. Reach out to students. This is especially effective at the middle and high school levels where student voices should be included on their boards. New families. Be the welcome wagon for your school by inviting new families to join PTA while explaining all of the wonderful things PTA has planned for the coming year. Past members, look at your last year's membership roster because it's a great way for you to get started with your membership campaign. You have a list of people that have already said yes to PTA, so use that list and consider asking them to rejoin. Work with other school groups on campus such as boosters, ASB, or sports teams. Are there joint incentives you both can work on? For example, PTA members, can they get discounts for sporting events? Or can they get a discount on their yearbook or prom tickets? Track and report membership progress. This can be done on the grade, classroom, or school-wide level depending on your membership campaign. Target those that have not signed up. Ask parents to sponsor a teacher or another parent for membership. Organize events and contests. People love free stuff and love to win anything. Have a PTA membership back-to-school barbecue, picnic, potluck, or ice cream party. Some PTA units include a membership in the ticket price of these events. Have a teacher membership themed tea. Have a day where families can purchase school supplies or spiritware, or do a giveaway drawing like a turkey at Thanksgiving. Look to your surrounding community for members. Elected officials, business owners, and alumni are great places to start. Be creative. The more creative you are, and the more excited you are about PTA, the more people will be drawn to you and the purpose of PTA.
PTA began as a strong political voice for children. Long before women had the right to vote, mothers gathered together through PTA to fight for laws to protect and programs to serve children. Add membership to the mix, and the power of more voices amplify the issue's importance. More voices equal greater results. PTA proudly continues this tradition today. PTA resources are one of the great values of PTAs. Be familiar with all that is offered in PTA publications on the website. Trainings, webinars, the toolkit is full of pertinent information about membership, running membership campaigns, etc. And make sure that all the local leaders are identified and their contact information is in My PTEZ so they can be contacted and be sent service mailings, and all PTA materials can be reprinted by the PTA when credit is given to the source. We hope that this has provided a foundation on why PTA matters. By seeing the thread connected with PTA's history, advocacy, and membership efforts, leaders can begin to understand why PTA matters as much today as it did when it began in 1897.